Winter Turkeys is the name of this painting, an unusual painting that won our Wild Turkey Wildlife Artist of the Year category in 1983. We have the artist with us, Nick VonFrankenhausen.
Oh, Fred.
In the magazine masthead here, in the Michigan Natural Resources magazine, it has Gisbert?
Gijsbert VonFrankenhausen.
Gijsbert VonFrankenhausen.
Yeah.
You're from where?
From the Netherlands.
And how long ago did you come here?
February 21, it'll be 8 years.
Okay, and now Nick is the art director of Michigan Natural Resources magazine. He's done a lot of paintings, award-winning paintings. Here's a painting on the inside cover of this new magazine. Is this your latest one?
Right, yep.
On wolves, and geez, flipping over to the first big photo we have is some of Nick's photography. And on the Michigan Natural Resources magazine, which has a circulation of about 130,000, the most popular outdoor natural resources magazine in the state. You do all the layout on this?
Mm-hmm. All the layout, all the key lining, press ready, everything.
Plus a lot of photography. We are going to have Charlie Fanta, our 1983 upland bird and waterfowl specialist, or taxidermist. You have some tape, Bob, of winter turkeys.
I've got some unusual tape of winter turkeys.
Of course, outdoor headlines, outdoor calendar with Ed Groves, a pheasant recipe with Kathy Beitler, weekend forecast. So much so you stay tuned. It's Thursday night, time for Michigan Outdoors.
From
Nick VonFrankenhausen works out of the DNR building. Nick,
Hi.
Good to have you here on the show. That's just a normal setting, isn't it? You up there in an office building,
Right.
working on the magazine,
That's where I lay the magazine out and key line it, but I do all the paintings at home.
which I happen to know is not what we'd call a normal setting for most people. For an artist, maybe, let's go to Nick's studio out in the country in a house out in Bath,
In Bath, mm-hmm.
near Lansing. Wow. Never guessed that was an artist's studio.
Yep, that's the inside of the studio.
You have mounted birds and animals around there, photographs.
Yeah,
How many paintings are you working on at one time?
about 4 to 5. I get stuck on one painting and start another one, and
Now, what do you mean stuck?
or you get stuck on getting your material together, or it just doesn't go right. And like in this case, I was working on the bald eagle and I wanted to put a fish in. I didn't have the fish. The painting was stuck for a couple of weeks until I got the fish.
Oh, you had to have a fish to look
Right.
at, to paint from.
I went all the way up to Traverse City to get the fish.
Oh, sounds like a
And-
nice little side trip.
And in this case, I used stuffed heads to work from,
Mounted.
mounted
Charlie
heads.
Phantom would want you to correct that. Mounted
Well,
taxidermy.
I think this one is stuffed. He would agree with me.
Okay, but you work from mounted animals.
Mm-hmm. Frozen specimens, roadkills, anything. Photography. I use a lot of photography.
Do you do a lot of photography yourself?
Yes, I do. I photograph we get a lot of animals in at home, and I photograph every animal that I get just to keep them on file.
And of course, a lot of
And
your photography is
Ends up in the magazine too, yeah.
and it's from the wild and these cages here. You and your wife are what do you call-
Licensed rehabilitators.
rehabilitators of injured.
Injured or orphaned or most of the time stolen out of the woods animals by people.
And they bring it to the DNR and
Yeah.
then you try to.
People pick up baby raccoons and find out that they can't take care of them, and they end up at the DNR, and then they end up with us.
Now, this fox here.
Those were both stolen out of the den when they
Oh.
were very little, and they were brought over by the DNR. This
course.
is a painting as a result of the foxes we had.
Mm-hmm.
So is this one. This was a different fox we had. This one was 16 years old when it died.
16?
A lady had this in East Lansing. That's the same fox.
With your pet dog.
Yeah.
They get along well together.
They get along really good, yeah. There's no problem.
Okay, now some of the other wildlife. Is this a great horned owl?
Yeah, this is a great horned owl baby. Same story. Somebody stole it out of the nest.
Mm-hmm. And you got it in
And,
shape to...
yeah, we raised it until it was able to fly and kill on its own, and we release them. They keep coming back for food for quite a while. This is the most common.
The raccoons?
Yeah, one year we had over 30 of them
You raised 30 raccoons at home?
in 1 year.
And turned them
they
all
were
loose?
all about that size. Yeah.
Wow.
We brought them to Houghton Lake to release them because you don't want those around your house.
They get to be pests.
It's a pain in the neck, yeah.
Okay, well, Nick, I tell you, Nick is one great guy. He works the sketches he has. I enjoy the sketches. This was Winter Turkeys as a sketch right here, which turned into this painting right down here, which you did these from observing turkeys in the wild?
In the wild, yes.
Well, Bob Garner went up a little while ago, about a month or so ago, and got some tape of turkeys in the wild. Where was this, Bob?
Oh, that was at the McKay Ranch. In fact, you can see it from US 27, just north of Clare. And what was going on there is the department was going to try and trap some birds using a new type of netting device.
Now, why were they trapping them?
They're trying to trap and transplant these birds to Midland County. As you can see, there are an awful lot of birds concentrated in one spot over a food source, a particular food source that had been left out for them. And they were going to trap enough birds to try and start another flock in an area of Midland County.
Okay, the McKay Ranch is private land.
It is all private land, right?
But is it fenced in? Are these turkeys captive?
No, not in any way, nor are any of the deer. None of the animals are captive. It's not a preserve. It's a ranch, but no fences.
Now, when winter hits, the birds and deer congregate together. They herd up.
This is particular to northern Michigan, especially although turkeys are scattered all over the United States. In northern Michigan, they tend to flock up much faster. And the theory is that the food source is dropped so fast that, and people are so used to baiting deer, or rather feeding deer, that the turkeys have learned to come in right with the deer.
Well, now, when Howard Shelley was on Michigan Outdoors, he took photographs of the cannon nets that they would shoot over a flock of turkeys to capture them.
They're trying a new type of netting device, which is the drop net, like this one that biologist Bill Horton is putting up right now. And what happens is they bait underneath it. The turkeys move underneath the net, and then through a quick release, they drop the net.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And they get almost every turkey, don't they?
They do, and except those right around the edges, and it does very little damage. Doesn't seem to hurt the turkeys in any way, shape, or form.
Now, he's pulling the string from inside a building.
That's right.
The turkeys don't mind coming up to that. They're almost like backyard pheasants in the winter.
That's true, but that is typical of them having that food source there that they can depend upon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we really couldn't drop that net on turkeys and get actual footage because of these little critters. The deer happen to get in under the net, and I wouldn't want to be around when you drop the net on 3 or 4 deer standing there.
Right. Why do the deer and turkeys congregate together? Oftentimes in the fields, up north, driving by in the evening, you see deer and turkeys together.
It's for the same reason. It's food. It's the most limiting factor on our turkey population and our deer population is food. And so they eat much the same things, and they'll, be it in the fall, the acorns on an oak ridge, or in the winter if they're being fed somewhere with the grain crops, or hay, like you see right in there in that picture.
Turkeys are so wary. I'm sure a dog, a fox, a bobcat, a house cat, any of these animals could not get near them in the winter. I wonder what it is. They don't have a sense of smell, I don't think.
No, their sight is so good that they can pick up most predators. But you see, you've got an unusual situation here, Fred. The birds and the deer at this point of the year are stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've been lucky. We've gotten some good weather lately that should alleviate part of that condition. But look at them. They're stressed. They have to come in someplace to eat. And when they have to come in someplace to eat, they become much less wary when that's their entire food source.
You've observed turkeys like this, Nick. This is where you got the inspiration for your painting. What do you look for? Do you make sketches as you are watching them?
Not in a place like this. It's very hard to sketch in the wild.
So you would photograph in the wild?
Right, I would photograph this and get as many pictures as I can.
See, Fred, everything comes into that food source, even the red squirrel.
Little red squirrel.
And that's a sight there that is most beautiful in nature, at least to me. I really enjoy seeing turkeys.
Do you find, Nick, that when you take pictures of birds or animals in the wild as they're moving and paint them the same way they're moving, people say that doesn't look natural?
Sometimes that happens. Yeah.
Look at this. There's a hen. There's a bearded hen right in the center.
You mean off to the left there?
Yep, off the left.
With a skinny little beard.
Right, and to the right is a big gobbler. Jesus, it's a trophy gobbler, but anyway, he's got the full beard, and the hen has a little. Let's take another look at it here. Okay, you can see her. She's right in the center.
Oh, there she is walking.
She's a little lighter colored.
Well, her head is different.
And her head is different than the other gobbler. See him standing there? She's on the left, and the big gobbler on the
See
right.
that little beard.
Boy, that is unusual to see together out in the woods. That's fantastic.
Now, bearded hen does occur in nature.
About 6% of the time, and it's an anomaly, much like does having antlers.
Well, let's look at this painting here, Nick. You have any bearded hens in here?
No,
Are these all hens?
no, there's hens and gobblers. The front one is a gobbler.
The front one here is a
You can see
gobbler.
the beards on them.
Well, this makes a lot of difference for a wildlife artist like yourself to study these animals in nature.
You got to. That's one good thing that we have our rehabilitation permits, because you can see the animals from real small all the way till they're full grown, and it makes a big difference.
Why don't you call us this spring or summer when you have some of these critters out there? Of course, we don't want to encourage people to pick them up and
Right.
bring them to you.
That's-
I hope this was not an
it's-
advertisement
no,
for Nick's
no.
Sanctuary.
I rather not do this, but every year it happens. People come in and drop them off and stolen out of the woods.
Well, Nick VonFrankenhausen's work you see in Michigan Natural Resources magazine every other month. And congratulations, Nick, on your turkey print.
Thank you.
Artist of the Year. And now, let's get over to a fellow who has a mounted turkey, and he was our upland bird and waterfowl taxidermist of the year in 1983. Charlie Fanta is his name, and Charlie, you have done the best turkey mount that I have ever seen. That's phenomenal.
Thanks, Fred.
Not only that, but you entered a lot of things in our taxidermy competition.
That's right.
Fish, mammals, but birds, you did the best in.
Yep, they're my specialty.
This turkey, for example, look at this, folks. If we can get in and look at the head on this turkey, you have the little feathers, almost hair-like feathers popping through the top of the head. How do you do that?
Well, what this is here is a polyester resin reproduction. And turkeys have a real fleshy head to them, and it's hard to get a good natural look to the head. And I found that the best way is to cast them and do a whole actual reproduction. And the way I do it, I'm able to keep the feathers in the head.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible. And these feathers, of course, standing up in the display posture. Is that difficult to get the feathers? Do you individually arrange them or what?
Not really. It does take quite a bit of experience to really get it down. But if you have your body position just right, the feathers will pretty much stand on end by themselves. And then the trick is to catch it as it's drying. Just as the feathers are starting to dry, you keep brushing them forward, brushing them forward.
Well, let's get around here and look at some of your other work. You've done pheasant, wood duck, grouse, all of the upland birds.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just excelled in.
Thank
This grouse, you do the same thing on the head that you did on the back of the turkey?
Right.
By drying?
Right. This is one of my favorite mounts right here.
The strutting ruffed grouse. I like that. I like that. You see an awful lot of paintings, like Nick's turkey painting is unusual because it didn't have a displaying tom in it,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
this is not a drumming ruffed grouse. Of course, here, a sleeping wood duck,
Dozing, resting, yeah.
up on one foot. You live in East Lansing,
Right.
so you don't live out in the country, you don't...
Nope.
What's your background?
I went to school here for 6 years and have a degree in wildlife management, and started my business about 6 years ago and decided that I'd just stay with that.
Well, you've done a tremendous job. Here we have a historic Michigan bird,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll come back. Hear from Bob Garner on that. But
They're
geez.
beautiful. The way the feathers shine on those pheasants is just unbelievable.
Well, why don't we have you back, Charlie, periodically to talk about how people should care for the game in the field.
I'd love to.
We'll get you on before turkey season because some of you out there might want to have your turkey mounted. Is it expensive?
No.
No, like how much? Ballpark.
It's about $250 for a turkey mount like that.
But I tell you, this is gorgeous. And does this come with a base?
Right, that includes a base on all the mounts.
Well, outstanding. We will be back with Charlie Fanta before turkey season. Congratulations
Fred.
on being our taxidermist of the year in the upland bird and waterfowl category at our Sportsman's Banquet. Something that you'll enjoy, Charlie. We had a fellow there. It was a surprise trophy report. He was from Vietnam. I tell you, it was incredible. Listen to this story. Now we're down to the largest lake trout caught in the state this past year. We're going to have to find out how to... Come on up here. If I could pronounce your name, I would. Hoen Pham. He called us from Traverse City. He was fishing in the East Bay with a Swedish pimple. Undoubtedly, they have ice up there? Was this through the ice?
No.
Come on down here.
I bought it early spring. I got them early spring.
Okay, and it was a 26-pound, 4-ouncer. You were fishing out there the 29th of March.
Yeah, right.
For lake trout?
No, for whitefish. I chucked for whitefish and I got this.
No kidding.
Steak it. Just use a stick.
Using a stick?
Yeah, chuck and steak, no reel. I don't have a reel.
This man was jigging a Swedish pimple with a line on the end of a stick.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have a reel. Just a zig and stick only.
It's a 6-inch stick. Let's get the statistics on the 6-inch stick. How long was the line?
I got about 200 feet line.
200 feet down.
175 deep, but foot deep in East Bay.
Boy, did that sort of wear out your hands by the time you brought it up?
It took me an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. I tell you, that almost tops the 4-day drunk. That's great. How do you pronounce your name?
Juan.
Juan?
Yeah, Juan.
And where are you from?
Vietnam.
No kidding. When did you come into this country?
When my country fell out in 1975 by communists. So I come over here and go fishing.
Come over here and go fishing? Juan from Vietnam moved to... I tell you, what luck, because most people who move from other countries end up in New York or somewhere like that. He ends up in Traverse City.
Yeah, I'm living in Traverse City.
What do you do up there?
I own my own little company. Take care of the...
And what do you... don't tell me. You make sticks.
Yeah.
And to...
No, I gotta work like everybody, and beside that, I go fishing. I work for money, for living, and fishing for fun.
That sounds great. Don't we all? Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, did you fish when you were in Vietnam?
No, I don't know how to tie the hook until I come to Traverse City.
Oh, okay. That's why I see it. Congratulations, Juan. What a story to tell. Come up and talk to this man. Welcome him to America and to Michigan. He caught the largest lake trout in Michigan in 1983.
Well, that's a super story, but I'm not quite ready to give up the graphite rods I purchased down at the Boat and Fishing Show when we were down there with the Michigan Outdoors cameras over the past 10 days. It was a fantastic show, by the way. It broke all records. It is the third largest boat show in the nation, and I think next year we'll move right up into second place. A great show. While we were down there, a number of questions from those of you who visited the Michigan Outdoors booth, and I'll try and answer those right now. One of the major questions seemed to be whether or not we would have handgun hunting for deer in the southern part of the Lower Peninsula next fall. The answer is, well, we're still not sure. I would bet we will, but with the changes in the Senate, there are new committee chairmen coming in, and that bill still has yet to go through the Senate. Also, the put-take pheasant program is still slated to end. There's been no change there. And the Indian fishing negotiations you kept asking about, well, they're still underway with the next meetings happening February 28th and 29th.
Bob, you did a good job at the Boat and Fishing Show answering a lot of people's questions. But you know when we went ice fishing a few weeks ago on Cass Lake?
Oh, I remember it well.
Boy, did you get us in a heap of trouble.
I did.
I guess we can't blame it all on you. How did that happen? We got a letter from a viewer. He's an attorney from Marshall.
And this is what he had to say.
And you touched that fish last, too.
While watching your program of January 19th, 1984, I believe I observed Mr. Garner pull a deceased bluegill through a hole in the ice. If my powers of observation were accurate, your otherwise fine program deserves a second-place award as an insult to ice fishermen. The first-place award is no longer available, as it has been long since secured by Virgil Ward for repeated green retrieves of 2-pound bass with his spin-cast outfit. Congratulations on an excellent series of programs.
Oh, my. Well, Bob, let's go to
Look
that
at
fish
this one
right
Bob
now.
Allen
This
just
was
got.
right
Now, that's
after a
lot
crappie
nicer.
was caught,
Nice
and
crappie.
I
We got
instructed
one
you to
waxwork.
keep that
Now,
fish in the
waxwork.
hole.
Now,
That's
Keep
right.
that bluegill on. Was it fighting?
Oh, it was, yeah, the line was going round and round the hole at a fierce rate.
And you probably had it on for, what, a couple minutes?
No more than a minute and a half, I don't think.
Minute and a half, and pulled it through, and this is what happened.
Oh, hey, now
I
there's
was
a
very
bluegill for
disappointed.
you.
You played that fish out or
There's a
something.
nice
Well, that's true, but you notice, still in all, that fish is not frozen. Notice the
No, it was,
the dorsal fins come right up on it.
yeah, Mr. Withy, it was still alive and kicking.
And Dave Weaver from the DNR tells me that when you're in a position like that where you're fishing on a very cold day, a lot of times a fish will come right up through the ice, hit the air, and then just do nothing.
One flip from that bluegill.
That's all we
would have
needed.
made it all,
Yeah.
would have looked good.
Yeah,
But we put on the way it happened.
Yeah.
We also have a tape that we didn't put on of you getting a pike on a tip-up, which
That's
was just the opposite. It wasn't fighting at all, but it came out of the hole at the end. Let's take a look at
Bob
that.
Garner ran over. Now we're attracting a crowd here. So everybody wants to see what we have. Now, it could be a northern pike, that's what we're looking for, although this is set out in a little deeper water. Has he got it, Bob? Think he spit it out. Well, we'll see here. You don't feel any resistance? The wind? Well, the wind may have popped the flag up, but it creates some excitement. Look over there, Dick. Dick, behind. See him running? See him coming? They come from all around when a flag goes up. We might as well play like it's still on, Bob.
That's right.
Nothing there, huh?
No.
Okay, well, this is what happens ice fishing.
Yep. No, hold it. Yeah.
What? You think there's one on here?
I'm not sure, Fred.
What size of minnow did you have on? Look at the intensity, Dick, up on the peanut gallery here.
Yeah, a lot of line out.
Look at it. They are intent.
I don't know whether...
Here we go. Oh, we got one. We do. Oh, right here. I'll be doggone.
Now look at that. What? Look at that pike. It just laid there.
Yeah,
After it took about 2 or 3 flips on the ice, that was
Get
it.
Well,
So
there's no...
when it hit the air, when it hit the ice,
That's right.
and that's the only fight you said that pike had.
And we don't know how long the flag had been up or whatever, and how long it had been on the bait. So
Well, if our viewers think that we lost out to Virgil Ward here, Virgil, I want you to go ice fishing and pull out. If we can compete during the summer, we'll stack up. We'll get that #1 spot back. We'll pull those live fish through the ice. I mean, in the water, and we'll get some more through the ice at Flip and Kick too.
we'll get them some great bass fishing too. That's going to
will.
be easy.
We promise. And everything you see on this show is honest, the way it happened.
That's right.
But it always doesn't look so good. But we got some events coming up, Ed.
I don't think a lot of people didn't think this was going to be such a nice weekend, and so there wasn't much happening. But let's take a look at the Michigan Outdoors outdoor calendar. There's a Sportsman Swap and Shop this Saturday, sponsored by the Shiawassee Conservation Association. Their clubhouse in Owasso will be open from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. to let you pick up that needed hunting and fishing gear. The Michigan Outdoor Writers Association and the MSU School of Journalism are hosting an outdoor communications seminar Saturday, February 25th. This second annual event is for anyone interested in the field of outdoor media. Full-time freelancer Tom Hugler, Detroit News editor Dave Ritchie, Michigan Fisherman Magazine editor Ken Darwin, Michigan Sportsman and Gundog Magazine's editor Steve Smith, and our own Fred Trost will each give presentations on various aspects of outdoor communications. If you're interested in outdoor writing and producing, this seminar is for you. March 24th, Michigan Outdoors Television, in association with the MSU Department of Fisheries and Wildlife, is hosting a workshop to link your club with resources from larger outdoor organizations. Key representatives from the nation's hunting, fishing, and shooting sports organizations will help you become more effective and self-supporting. And if you want to take home more fish this summer, look for the Great Lakes Fishing Institute in May. Taught by an all-star faculty of Michigan anglers, this 2-day event at Eastern Michigan University may be just what you need. And that's the Michigan Outdoors Outdoor Calendar.
If you're following along with your Michigan Outdoors Club Digest, we are making fire brewed pheasant. Right, Kath?
Right.
Putting the sauteed mushrooms in last. We're starting at the end here. We're going to dip some of this up for Bob Garner. Have him taste it as we show you how it's done. On a bed of wild rice, we put the fire brewed pheasant. And we have a little rabbit in here, too. There's a drumstick of a pheasant. Want to get him a little piece of rabbit? Okay, boy, that does look good. I'll take this over to him. Are you ready, Bob?
I'm ready, Fred.
Okay, there it is. Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Looks super. Looks super.
Get started on that because we want your critical opinion. Kathy, how do we make fire brewed pheasant?
It's really quite easy. We marinated the pheasant in beer.
In beer, right here.
Basically overnight.
Okay, just put a little beer and let it go overnight. You just throw the pieces in there?
Right.
Okay, good.
Really tenderizes it. Towel dry it off.
With a towel,
And if you want to put some salt and pepper in there.
salt, pepper, a little bit of salt in flour, correct?
Right. No, cornstarch.
Of cornstarch.
That'll thicken the gravy.
Looks like flour, though. And
A
a
little bit
little,
of garlic salt.
or garlic powder.
Or garlic powder.
I don't like garlic salt so often because you oftentimes put other salt in with it.
Right. Makes
I think
it
it's-
too salty.
I think so. Some people like it saltier.
And you want to dredge this pretty good in the cornstarch so that it will thicken.
And then I would assume brown it.
Brown it. And that takes quite a bit of time. It's an important part.
And this is what it looks like after
Af-
it's been browned and what? What do we add?
Broth, chicken broth is added. A
Okay.
can.
A can of chicken
You need
broth.
the
and you-
whole can.
the whole can of chicken broth in with this. And cook it for how long?
2 hours. This has been cooking quite some time.
Well, we can see the meat just is falling off the bones of the parts that have bones in them. Let's go over and find out from Bob how this was, Kathy. Come on over here. Well, Bob, how's it stack up?
It gives it, the beer must give it a much richer flavor. It's like it was cooked in cream or something like that, like a milk-type recipe.
Well, that would be the cornstarch?
Right.
Cornstarch and a beer combination. You can taste the beer a little bit, too.
Just a tiny
You
bit.
can. And
Well, you know what we should have done? We should have put in some light rather than just the old
I
straws.
like the rabbit better than the pheasant, too.
Do you?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the pheasant has a lot of ligaments. This, by the way, is in our Club Digest. The address is coming up right at the end of the show. We're going to be in the Upper Peninsula this weekend. Bob and I, we're heading north, sturgeon spearing, ice fishing, visit some deer yards.
Everything. It
And-
seems they're going to cover
A
everything.
great recipe that's right here in the Digest, too, for UP pepper steak, venison pepper steak. So
Looking
join us
forward to that.
next week from the Upper Peninsula right here on Michigan Outdoors.
From the rugged shore and woodlands of the north, it's history of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fisheries. To the farmlands of the southern counties, we'll look around again at all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan.